a DMP in a game. Well, it was my theory that she got the nod to prevent Caitlin Clark from ever being able to break her Olympic record, all right, which was 6. I mean, Caitlin Clark would have to play till she was like 48 years old to have any hope of, I think, even tying that, which I do not feel like she's going to be able to do. And I think that was partially strategic. I never one time thought Diana Taurasi.
The recent Olympic basketball tournament sparked significant debate surrounding Diana Taurasi's minimal playing time and Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the roster. During the games, Taurasi found herself relegated to the bench for extended periods, culminating in 0 minutes during the crucial gold medal match. Many observers questioned Taurasi's selection over younger, more productive players like Clark. The veteran guard's regular season performance had declined considerably, showing clear signs of athletic deterioration. Despite these concerns, she secured a roster spot that numerous analysts viewed as undeserved based purely on current ability. A compelling theory emerged suggesting Taurasi's inclusion served a strategic purpose beyond basketball merit.
Time thought Diana Taurasi got this spot because she was playing well enough to get the spot. Well, evidently Cheryl Reeve did not believe she was playing well enough to play. All right, and she's mad as hell about it, and I'm talking about Diana Taurasi. Of course, this Diana Taurasi documentary's come out. I have not watched it. I probably won't. I know she came out and was talking about money and a janitor and this and that and the other. And it really doesn't matter how great you.
Her presence potentially blocked Clark from beginning an Olympic career that could eventually threaten Taurasi's record of 6 gold medals. For Clark to match this achievement, she would need to compete until approximately age 48, making such a feat nearly impossible. The documentary release featuring Taurasi revealed her frustration with the coaching staff's decisions. She expressed confusion about her limited role, particularly during the gold medal contest against France. Throughout the tournament, Taurasi accumulated just 55 minutes and 50 seconds across 5 games before being completely unused in the championship. Coach Cheryl Reeve faced criticism for the roster construction and rotation choices.
And this and that and the other. And it really doesn't matter how great you were if the demand to watch you play did not add up to you receiving dollars by way of the league being elevated to the point of you of the league making enough money to be able to compensate you for however great you think you are. It doesn't matter if you're Michael Jordan times 3. If the revenue's not there, you're not getting paid. So, I don't want to hear that. I didn't make a video.
The gold medal game proved exceptionally competitive, ending in a narrow 1-point victory over France. Taurasi reportedly expected playing time during crucial moments, having prepared for such high-pressure situations through years of European competition. The situation highlighted broader issues within women's basketball regarding veteran treatment and merit-based selection. Taurasi's documentary comments about compensation and league revenue reflected ongoing tensions between established players and newer stars who drive viewership increases. Basketball analysts noted the timing coincidence between Clark's snub and concerns about fan reaction to limited playing time. However, Clark's superior regular season performance compared to Taurasi made the selection controversial among objective observers.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. I didn't make a video on it. I could have. I started to, but it's just more entitlement by the old WNBA guard, believing they deserve something for what exactly? I don't know. I mean, this is, at the end of the day, a supply and demand situation. Ugh. People didn't start tuning in until Caitlin Clark showed up. There, we did it again. When Taurasi was selected to the Olympic team,
the veteran's sense of entitlement became apparent through various statements about deserving roster inclusion based on historical contributions rather than current production. This mindset reflected broader cultural issues within the professional women's league regarding compensation expectations versus revenue generation. During the intense championship game, Reeve likely prioritized players with better mobility and current skill levels. France mounted a serious challenge, with players like Gabby Williams delivering exceptional performances that nearly secured an upset victory. Taurasi's father was reportedly upset about the playing time situation, while teammate Sue Bird observed her confused expressions from across the court.
Selected to the Olympic team, Some saw it as a controversial pick over Caitlin Clark. Sue Bird saw it as an obvious choice, as did Taurasi, who previously had not opened up about not playing in the gold medal game in Paris. Quote, when I see Dee get picked to the U.S. roster, she's there to lead. She's there to calm everyone down when shit gets weird, because shit's going to get weird. It always does. Said Taurasi, who
The veteran described the experience as mentally challenging, particularly given her expectations for meaningful minutes. The close nature of the contest potentially influenced Reeve's conservative rotation decisions. Rather than risk inserting an aging player in critical moments, the coach maintained lineups that provided the best chance for victory. This approach proved successful but left Taurasi feeling underutilized. The controversy exposed fundamental questions about Olympic selection criteria.
Said Taurasi, who won her 6th Olympic gold medal in Paris, quote, to be honest, I never even really thought about it. I always felt like I deserved to be on the team because it was my team for 20 years and I know how to get the job done. Yeah, but isn't it on a every 4-year case-by-case basis? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't believe it should be a lifetime achievement award every time it comes up for you to be selected.
Should teams prioritize recent performance, veteran leadership, or potential future contributions? Taurasi's inclusion represented a lifetime achievement recognition rather than merit-based evaluation. Industry observers noted the irony of Taurasi securing her 6th gold medal while contributing minimally to the actual victory. Her presence prevented other deserving players from experiencing Olympic competition and potentially beginning their own medal collections. The situation demonstrated how individual legacy concerns can conflict with team optimization.
Should be a lifetime achievement award every time it comes up for you to be selected. Then the gold medal game happened. Through the Olympic semifinals, Taurasi played a bit role for coach Cheryl Reeve, playing a total of 55 minutes, 50 seconds over 5 games of the tournament. That number didn't change in the gold medal game, a 1-point victory over France, because Taurasi never came off the bench. She kept looking at Bird, whose seat was across the court from Taurasi's spot on the bench, with a look.
While Taurasi brought experience and leadership qualities, her limited athleticism created roster inefficiencies that could have been avoided with different personnel decisions. Women's basketball continues grappling with generational transitions and the balance between honoring veterans and embracing emerging talent. The Olympic selection controversy illustrated these tensions while raising questions about future roster construction approaches. The documentary Revelation showed Taurasi's surprise at her reduced role, suggesting disconnect between player expectations and coaching plans. This communication breakdown contributed to the overall controversy surrounding team management decisions.
The court from Taurasi's spot on the bench with a look Bird described as, quote, I don't know what the hell's going on. This was the game she was actually brought here for, Bird said. As the game progressed, Taurasi said she thought, you're not even going to get me on for a little bit. It was a game that Taurasi described as, quote, a big mind fuck for the United States, one that was going 100 miles an hour, one that 12 years of playing in Europe had primed Taurasi for. Quote, I'm confused.
Clark's absence from the roster became more glaring given her outstanding rookie season performance and ability to generate unprecedented fan interest. The decision to exclude basketball's newest star while including an aging veteran raised questions about organizational priorities. The gold medal victory ultimately validated Reeve's strategic choices, though the margin of victory suggested alternative roster constructions might have achieved similar results. The coaching staff's risk-averse approach reflected the pressure of international competition. Taurasi's experience highlighted the challenges facing aging athletes who struggle to accept reduced roles.
On the Caitlin Clark injury, and you know Alexa Philippou is legit when she's like the only WNBA reporter I have post notifications on Twitter.
NBA insider Alexa Philippou. Alexa, the Fever have avoided setting an exact return date for Caitlin Clark. What do we know about her progress?
Sorry.
Yeah, Vanessa, we know that Caitlin Clark has done some full court running over the last week or two, and the update as of Monday is that she was able to add more in that regard and doing that full court.
Professional sports require constant adaptation, and even legendary performers must eventually accept diminished responsibilities. The controversy will likely influence future Olympic selection processes as basketball officials balance competing priorities of experience, current ability, and long-term development. The debate surrounding merit versus legacy will continue shaping roster decisions. Women's basketball benefited from increased attention generated by the controversy, though the discussions often focused on interpersonal drama rather than athletic achievement. The sport continues seeking balance between entertainment value and competitive integrity.
Able to add more in that regard and doing that full court running as she works to build her endurance after not doing anything for so long, but she has.
I have a really, really weird feeling that there is some form of. I stand by this because you guys probably can't see this right now. I am sitting on a cushion. And the reason why I'm sitting on a cushion is I literally, years ago, was going to the physio for.
The situation ultimately demonstrated that even prestigious accomplishments like Olympic gold medals can be overshadowed by selection controversies and playing time disputes. Individual perspectives on fairness rarely align with organizational decision-making processes. Recent ESPN coverage has highlighted the ongoing uncertainty surrounding Caitlin Clark's return from injury, and the discussion continues to generate significant attention. While some question whether this topic deserves continued coverage, the reality is that fans remain deeply invested in Clark's status. The WNBA certainly maintains its entertainment value during her absence, with teams like the Sparks showing exciting play and compelling matchups between the Sparks and Storm providing quality basketball.
Physio for, basically was going to physio for months, and it was severe groin pain. I had to get a scan, did a bunch of tests, and nothing was shown. Turned out I had a pinched nerve, and that does take time to recover. You have to figure out your running. I would not be surprised if it's not exactly that, but something along those lines where it's okay, it's something wrong with the way she's running. It's something wrong like that it's kind of putting too much pressure.
However, there's little debate that the league reaches its peak when Clark is actively playing. ESPN's Alexa Phillips provided the latest update on Clark's condition, noting that while the Fever organization has deliberately avoided establishing a specific return timeline, Clark has been participating in full-court running exercises over recent weeks. Monday's reports indicated her ability to increase these activities as she works to rebuild conditioning after an extended period of inactivity. The nature of Clark's injury raises intriguing questions. Many sports medicine situations involve complex issues that don't always show up clearly on diagnostic scans.
Something wrong like that it's kind of putting too much pressure, or again, maybe she's overcompensating somewhere else and it pinched a nerve, or it's kind of putting too much pressure on her groin. It mightn't be an actual groin injury. And the sitting down on a cushion means they're trying not to essentially put her in a position where it's kind of keep putting any pressure on her groin when she's sitting down. I have a feeling that it's not a groin strain.
Sometimes what appears to be a standard muscle strain actually involves nerve complications or biomechanical problems that require different treatment approaches. The fact that Clark was still considered questionable for multiple events immediately following her initial scan suggests the medical picture may be more complicated than a straightforward groin injury. This complexity could explain why the organization remains hesitant to provide concrete timelines. When dealing with nerve-related issues or movement pattern problems, recovery becomes less predictable than typical muscle injuries. These situations often require careful progression and can't be rushed without risking setbacks.
Not a groin strain that Caitlin Clark has. And I think that's probably why we have no idea, because there's no way they would have came out after the scan. There was no way it was she got injured on Tuesday and she got a scan and there was still talk about her playing the All-Star game on Saturday. There was still talk about her doing a three-point contest on Friday. There was still talk about her potentially playing the Liberty game on Wednesday when she got hurt on the Tuesday. There was still talk about that, and she was questionable. And that was after she got the scan. So I wouldn't be surprised the scan showed
Clark has now missed 11 games since her July 15th injury, with 11 regular season contests remaining before playoff action begins. The extended absence means any return will require a significant ramp-up period to restore game conditioning and team integration. The Fever's medical staff continues emphasizing their patient approach rather than rushing their star player back prematurely. The timing creates additional pressure for Indiana, as their guard rotation has been severely depleted by season-ending injuries to key players including Ari McDonald, Sidney Colson, and others. This roster attrition places extra burden on the remaining healthy players during a demanding 44-game season that has tested every team's depth.
That was after she got the scan, so I wouldn't be surprised the scan showed nothing, but there's still pain, they're still trying to work her back up, and that could be a case. And if that's the case, we haven't a clue when Caitlin's going to be back, because the Fever might not have any idea when she's going to be back.
It's still not returned to practice. She has still not returned to any sort of team activities yet. And I think with her being out for so long at this point, you also have to expect that the ramp-up period for her to get back on the court is going to take longer as well. And so for the Fever, there have been 11 games that Caitlin Clark has.
Kelsey Mitchell has emerged as a consistent offensive force throughout this challenging period, establishing herself as a legitimate all-star candidate and providing reliable scoring when the team needs it most. Her performance has been crucial in keeping Indiana competitive during Clark's absence. From a strategic standpoint, the playoff implications become increasingly critical. If Clark remains unavailable, Indiana's postseason chances appear slim. The team likely needs approximately 4 victories from their final 11 games to secure playoff positioning, requiring a 364 winning percentage down the stretch.
There have been 11 games that Caitlin Clark has missed since that July 15th injury. They have 11 regular season games left before the playoffs, so some time, but not a ton of time to get her back incorporated, and they've stayed consistent that they are not putting a timetable out there in terms of when we could see her back on the floor.
Yeah, I know Fever fans want her back.
And that's the thing is, if it's not like just a normal groin strain, like groin strains, they have timetables, you'd hear 6 to 8 weeks, and you're seeing all this like really weird responses.
Their remaining schedule presents significant challenges. Beyond one potentially manageable matchup against Connecticut, Indiana faces difficult opponents, including teams fighting for their own playoff positioning. Games against Phoenix, Seattle, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and New York represent substantial obstacles for a Clarkless roster. The playoff seeding scenarios add another layer of complexity. If healthy and able to return, Clark gives Indiana legitimate upset potential as a lower seed.
All this like really weird responses from the WNBA. Weird responses from the Fever, Stephanie White, and hearing a lot of things. So I think it could be an interesting situation where, like, no one really knows, including the players and coaches. So yeah, let's keep listening.
The Fever, by the way, are getting pretty thin at guard with season-ending injuries to.
Teams entering playoff action in the 7 or 8 positions often create problems for higher seeds in short series formats. The current top teams like New York and Las Vegas have shown some vulnerability, and upset-minded opponents with star power can capitalize on these opportunities. However, without Clark's return, even reaching the postseason appears unlikely. The mathematical reality requires consistent winning against quality opposition, something Indiana has struggled to achieve during her absence. Las Vegas has shown home court limitations, while other contending teams have displayed inconsistencies that could be exploited by a full-strength Indiana squad.